Greetings, golfers, and welcome to the fourth episode of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. I'm your host, Scottie Walnuts, and we've got another great golf course to look at today, the Beaver CCNY by The Bower 1993210. Just a reminder that we film these episodes live on Twitch every Tuesday night beginning at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and if you've found your way here, then you're just as welcome to join us on Tuesday nights, and the link is in the description. So let's talk about this golf course. This is from a designer that I'm not actually particularly familiar with, but who has a number of TGC approved publishes. And his TGC Tours designer page is also linked below. And we've come across a couple of his courses before. And this one, the Beaver we played in a pop-up alts tournament around the new year and really enjoyed it and thought it would be a good one for episode 4 of the series. So let's see what the designer himself has to say about this one. He says, a fictional Donald Ross design set along the Beaver a tributary of the Delaware River running along Highway 17 in upstate New York. Surrounded by the Catskills, the terrain is rocky and turbulent. A flat lie will be hard to come by, and the greens have lots of dips and dives. 3 tees, championship member front, 4 pins, fast, 9.9 green speeds, and lots of Donald Ross touches. Some turtleback greens, lots of chipping areas, and mounds or hummocks aplenty. Little bits of inspiration from Oak Hill East, East Lake, CC of Buffalo, Glens Falls. Don't forget to take an aerial tour of the plot. Lots of cool Easter eggs in the course surrounds. Enjoy. And so that's in the designer's own words that even though we take a pretty thorough look during the round around the clubhouse and surrounding area, I'm sure we didn't catch all of the Easter eggs. So let me know if you spot anything neat. And as we've been doing, we'll have this course scheduled on the Society shortly after this episode drops, so you'll have an opportunity to play a couple of rounds on this course if you join our in-game society, the Walnut Farm. So the 3 tees mentioned, the front tees are 5,918 yards, the member tees are 6,654 yards, and the championship tees that we'll play from are 7,148 yards, playing on pin 3, as we generally do. And just a reminder, we're on TGC Tour's Platinum Tour settings for our rounds, which is Legend Swing difficulty, and we use a default ball, so we'll get a sense of how the course plays on the difficulty played by the best players in the world. If you enjoy the showcase, remember to smash that like and subscribe button, or leave a comment to let me know what you think of the course and the round. So we're at the Beaver CC, New York. We've got it set up already. We're tips, pin 3, as we generally do. Medium wind to the east. The east is a bit arbitrary, but gotta pick something. So medium wind to the east. Fairways are default soft, greens are default firm, and green speeds are default fast. On a clear afternoon, we always play defaults so that we get the course the way the designer intended, and I think we're about ready to rock here. This was part of a pop-up alts tournament just a week or two ago. Not that familiar with this designer, but it's a beautiful golf course. 352 yard par 4 off the bat. We're downhill and with the wind, so there is a temptation to just go for it right off the bat. It's not probably realistic to actually stop that ball in the green, even if you clear the bunker, but you know what? We're not going to be a hero. Actually, yeah, we are. It's not actually an awful strike, but again, I don't know if there's a shot that actually stays on the green there. Definitely awkward on the up and the putt there, but we do make the birdie though on the shorter opening hole, par four there. Dun, dun, dun. Second hole's a par 350 yards. And remember, too, with the new society format, struck a decent ball there. Up for birdie. With the new society format, the society will now schedule the courses that we play in the series, so you have a chance to go check it out for yourself. See how you stack up. Society is on TGC Master, though. TGC Tours Master settings. Which is what all the tours other than Platt play on. 478 yard par for third hole. Wouldn't mind getting some extra distance here on the longer par four power drive. Let's do it. Nice sort of autumn feel here. It's an upstate New York golf course, so a nice, maybe still early autumn round. The ground is still nice and green, but the trees starting to change. Should be a nice day out here. Nailed ourselves a putt there. 3 holes in a row that we've done that. 3 under through 3. Thank you, Hawk. Another par 3 here early on this one. Longer and trickier by the looks of it. 211 yards. Coming at it with a mid iron. Going to be tough to stop that ball. That's not an awful spot. The only thing we need to be a bit careful of is it runs right off, not too far past the hole, so we just got to be a little bit careful with this chip here. Just a little bit careful. Just get that first bounce just on the green there. You know, we were too careful with that one. We were way too careful with that one. Psyched myself up. You still gotta hit it. You still gotta hit it. And I psyched myself out on a tricky short game play. And our little birdie train there, our little birdie turkey, is going to be stopped by a bogey on 4. It's alright. Still off to a nice start here. Looks like we got maybe a house, some sort of old manor, perhaps. We'll take a look at that once we're out there off the tee. Long, thin green, and got a house there. Some cart paths. Perhaps a maintenance shed, some sort of maybe sod piles there, something like that. It was noted in the description that this course contained a number of Easter eggs, and full disclosure, I don't know all of them, and I'll keep an eye for them as we go. That's kind of the point of what we're doing out here. We'll just have to see what we come across as we go along here. And if you're watching this later or you're playing this later, make sure you build that into your round, that you're going to take a look around and see if you can find anything I missed or whatever it may be. Bounce right back with the birdie there. Nice little bridge over the creek. What do we have here? Ooh. Oh, that's where that bridge comes from. I guess you'd call that a creek, right? Not sure. Some sort of maybe a river that's been dried up a little bit. You can see behind the green, you know, maybe it's the end of summer. We know it's sort of the beginning of autumn. Maybe it's been a dry summer. Maybe the water's dried up. Maybe, you know, in the spring after the snow melts, it's like right up to the top there kind of thing. You can see on the way down. Similar stuff. Got our first par 5 of the round. It's only, say only, but only 528 yards. Should be gettable with a decent drive in the fairway. That is really pushing it on the right side. Yep. Well, we might as well take the distance we got, even if it's a bit. Oh, can we get into the fairway here? Looks like we can. We can either have it from the fairway, but it'd be over 300 yards, or we can have it from 241, but awkward. I think we'll still take the closer distance. Par is still in play here. In some sense, birdie is still in play, but that might be a bit ambitious. It's what we call calculated. Speaks for itself. Despite some really crummy strikes on that hole, we managed to salvage par with a penalty stroke. Some really bad, some really ugly swings. But in some way, see in this hole here, par four, it's not too much shorter than the one we just played. That last one was on the shorter end of a par five, and this one here on the longer end of a par four. There's almost some world where you ride that tailwind a bit, get either carry all the way or like bounce it off these rocks that you see. Um, or roll it. Let's give it a shot. Well, we've certainly hit our power drive. We'll have enough gusto. Gets caught up in a so-called natural area. We'll have 160 in though on a long par four. That's not awful. All in all, pretty effort from 31 feet. I think if we have the pace, that probably that holds its line and goes in the hole, but take the 2-putt par on the tricky hole there. $418 yards, but this hole moves hard from left to right. There's maybe almost a play. Sure how responsible of a play that was, but we're going to get ourselves 120 as opposed to what would probably have been a long iron if we'd. So we cut this hole off a little bit. It's doable. Got to be really careful if you try that though, because if you're not in the fairway or the first cut, this is not an easy pin to get at. Make our par there. See bunkers lining the fairway. We see. Oh, I see a swimming pool. You guys see that? I see a swimming pool. We're on the 9th hole, so probably coming back to the clubhouse here. We'll take a closer look when we get off the tee. Let's see, what do we have here? So over here, this is probably, a washroom or whatever. That's where the golfer is coming off the 9th. So you stop by there, presumably 10th tee, that we'll see in a second. Um, so what do we have back here? We've got a bridge. Somebody tell Tag Rocket, all 5-star this course. Got a beautiful bridge right there. Got some lovely, obviously pool here, and then probably obviously clubhouse, but got sort of an estate mannerly type look. Not sure how to, but maybe even a little chapel back there in the background, little church in case you have to have a personal conversation with your maker following the round or before the round, and then ask them after the round why it went the way it did. That's probably what that's there for. There's flowers there out in front. Yeah, gotta love it. Love this stuff. Love this stuff. I think maybe I see a practice facility over there. Or some sort of yeah, practice green or nursery for fairway replacements or something like that. Anyway, let's get back to the golf. 102 yards. Ball's not going to stay up high enough. We're going to two-putt par the 9th hole. We're out in 3. We're out in 3. Not bad, but we were 3 under through 3, so for what that's worth. So 3 under through 9. And we're just going to pop into the clubhouse for a quick second at the turn here. What we needed from the clubhouse, ready to tee off on 10 here. Back 9 begins with a par 3. 140 yards. A little bit of a left to right. And some tricky pins here. We're on pin 3. Remember, we're on pin 3, and there's some tricky ones here. What's up, Maverick? Help him out, would you, Youngski? Literally, Kurtzky, you were the only person who had even been in the chat by the time I pinned that message. So, out of anybody here, I find that hard to believe. No, you're good, Mav. Just staying focused on the round at the same time, you know? 417 yard par 4. Moves a little bit left to right. I like the vibe of like some of these of these water features that really nail the like we looked at it earlier on in the round, but they really nail the like dried up. Like it's been a dry summer. We're here in the autumn. Like you can see from the trees and everything that we're in the autumn time now. We're in New York State, and you can see like it's been a dry like the rivers and the ponds and stuff are like it's really neatly done. And then I like same thing I was saying, like you could envision like a spring version of this course, and the water levels are like higher and the trees are greener and everything. Kind of cool, like seasonal like awareness there or whatever. Really helps you like immerse with the landscape when that level of detail is utilized. I'm not getting anything on my end, Adam, but that doesn't mean it's not. 58 feet because we couldn't get it up into the back, up into this back pin here. Maybe a tricky two putt. But we do pull off the two putt, not too much drama. Still 3 under though. We jumped out to a quick start. And now we're sort of coming back on 12 here, coming back towards the clubhouse. You can see we were just looking at that when we made the turn and the little chapel sort of thing there. And Just looking at it, coming at it from a different angle this time. And that'll roll and roll even on the soft fairway bounce. Still get a nice amount of roll on that downhill first bounce. 77 yards will be partialing a 60. $547 par 5 13th. It's good number uphill, 55 feet uphill. So we do want to squeeze extra yards, I think. I think we feel good about a power drive in this case. It's too much pull on the swing path there. Those situations where it's not the end of the world, you just play it as a true three-shotter. When you look at, like, that would be a tough three. Even if you say you crush that power drive right down the middle, that's still an awkward three. Not that it's not doable, but we're looking at birdie at best at this point by the looks of it. Might be one of our better all-around strikes of the day. We've got 10 feet to convert that birdie. There we go. This is interesting. 321 yards. Fairly inviting. I would say fairly inviting. Not to say that it's going to be easy to get it close, but like, especially this pin in particular, like you could probably think it's tough to see here, but so you got pin 3, you probably got pin on the like right hand side there, pin at the front here, and then pin back left. That back left pin would be a lot of fun, but this is the one we're working with. Or 321, 48 feet downhill with a tailwind. We're going to see if a 3-wood can do it. Not quite to roll it all the way to the back. Maybe there was a world where some sort of like very, very partial to driver would have been the ideal play, but we're putting for eagle from 69 feet. And we'll take that two putt every time. Picking up some steam again here on the back nine. It was a quick start, 3 birdies in a row, and then we cooled off a bit, but picking it back up here later in the round. I think we can just kind of do this. Not too concerned about it. Feet. Just gonna slip away at the end. We got 3 holes left here. 16th hole is going to be a par 3. And a long one at that. 254 yards to get us all the way back there. I just want to get it. Then let gravity do the work, but we're either overpowering a 3-iron or partialing a 3-wood. We're going to take the 3-wood option. Well, perfect on the strike. Has some pace to it, but that didn't miss the cut by more than a few inches at most. Chip for birdie here. Fairly painless par on a tricky hole. We'll take that. 449 yards on our second last hole here. It's uphill. It's left to right. And just to our left here, I'm pretty sure we're going to see the clubhouse. And yeah, so this is like a closer look at what we've been. So that clubhouse area with the pool and all that, anchoring really anchoring really quite central to the course's layout. 169 yards left in on the approach here. Take our par there, final hole. Coming back, giving us one last look at our clubhouse area that we've fairly thoroughly investigated. It's a long one, 517 yards. Fairly straightforward, though. That counts for some of the distance. Might get away with this. Not really a great swing, but we're probably going to get away with this. Fortunate in a sense. The mitigating factor of the long par 4 is you got sort of a more generous fairway that helps us out there, and in this case, not out of all the pins we've seen, that this is one of the more accessible ones. Just kind of go right at it. The defense of this hole is just purely its length. The rest it's going to give you a bit of a break on. Can we put our money where our mouth is? Decent strike. We're going to have that look right there for birdie. And despite a dangerous overswing and pull on that putt, we do drain our birdie there. We drain our birdie there, and that's the Beaver Kill CC. And why? Let's take a quick look at our scorecard. And then we'll wrap it up right there. So a 7 under 63 on the par 70. We went out in 3, in 4. Off to a hot start, you can see there. We were really rolling. 3 right off the bat. Then we flubbed that chip on 4. Remember that? We flubbed, that chip on 4. That led to a bogey. That's our only bogey on the card. But that's an enjoyable golf course, and had a lot of fun out there. Watching another edition of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. If you enjoyed the show, remember to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment to let me know what you thought about the round. Remember, we're live most evenings on Twitch with golf and sometimes other sport and story games, and we film these episodes in front of a live studio audience on Twitch every Tuesday night. Link in the description. TM high and let 'em fly.